Good afternoon, everybody. I wish to welcome everyone to the August meeting of the Works Committee. Standing committees are held as part of council meeting process in order for committees to consider reports prepared by council officers and to make recommendations regarding these reports to the monthly council meeting. Council delegates on the Works Committee are Mayor Kennedy, Councillor Bowler, myself, Chairperson, Councillor Allgate, Councillor Chandler and Councillor Page. Have to read the rest of them. All councillors undertook an oath of affirmation at the beginning of their term, of office, and declared to undertake the duties of the office of council in the best interest of the people of Broken Hill, the local government area in the city of Broken Hill. Do I have to say that? Oh, I do. Right. Okay. It's been a while since our meeting. And they will faithfully and impartially carry out the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in them under the Local Government Act 1993 or any other act to the best of their ability and judgment. Live streaming and recording of meetings. The committee meeting is being live streamed via YouTube and recorded and published online via council's website. To those present in the meeting today, by attending in this public meeting, you are consenting to your image, voice, comments being recorded and published. The chairperson and or general manager have the authority to pause the live stream if comments or debate are considered defamatory or otherwise inappropriate for publishing. The participants are advised they may be subject to legal action if they engage in unlawful behaviour or commentary. Is there any apologies? If there's no apology, so move and second that.
Oh, you move no apologies.
Yeah, so just give a mover for no apologies. I'm a bit rusty. I haven't been up here for a while. No, you don't. Right, cool. No, we'll keep going. Leave of absence applications. There's nil received. I now call on Mayor Kennedy to deliver the prayer.
Almighty God, we ask you to invoke your blessing upon this council. Direct and prosper our deliberations to the advancement and true welfare of the people of the council area and state and our state and Australia. Amen.
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy. I now call on Councillor Chandler to deliver the Acknowledgement of Country.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of the land upon which we meet today and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging.
Thank you, Councillor Chandler. I now call on Councillor Allgate to deliver the Acknowledgement of Broken Hill's mining history.
Thank you. We take time to reflect, remember and honour the over 800 miners that lost their lives and those that were crippled or maimed on the line of load. We thank the brave miners and their wives who were part of the 1919-20 strike that lasted over 500 days and delivered a 35-hour working week. Mining is our past and our future.
Thank you, Councillor Allgate. Now move to item 6 on the agenda, minutes for confirmation. That the minutes of the Works Committee held Tuesday, May 16th, 2022 be confirmed. May I have a mover?
I'll move that.
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy. And seconder, Councillor Chandler. All those in favour? I declare that carried unanimously. Again. Okay, item 7, is there any disclosures of interest? There's no disclosures of interest. I'll continue along. All right, now we're up to item 8 on the agenda, reports. Report 1, Broken Hill City Council report number 184-22 dated August 12th, 2022, draft asbestos policy for public exhibition. Is there a mover to that?
Before it's moved just through the chair to the general manager, could we just have a brief overview of what it'll mean for people just the average public in dealing with this policy.
Thanks, Mr. Chair, through you to Mayor Kennedy. And nothing that they're not ordinarily already exposed to in regards to the handling of asbestos. It's really just putting in place a framework around how council will handle it in written form. So all councils are recommended to have an asbestos policy that falls in line with the legislation and the New South Wales Local Government Act and the Environmental Health Act. And this really just firms that up. It's based on the model. We haven't added anything additional to it, and it just makes it clear in regards to how council is going to handle asbestos, but then also what's required of the community. And in essence, just so that they're not wondering how to do it, it just points them in the right direction. We'll go out in public display, obviously, for 28 days, and if there's any feedback there, we can try and make it clearer in that regard as well.
Happy to move it.
Moved Mayor Kennedy, second Councillor Allgate. Any other speakers for that
I'll
motion?
just briefly say, look, asbestos has been a problem in the past, and it is good that we do have a policy so people know exactly what is required when it comes to handling asbestos. As the general manager made it clear, this is not about putting extra burden on the community. It won't hamper the opportunity for people to develop or renovate houses. Just when they are developing or renovating, there's a set of processes that they must go through when disposing of their asbestos, I would assume.
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy. Any other speakers for the motion? In that case, I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? Declared that carried. Thank you. Move to item number 2.
Move the recommendation as written.
Thank you, Councillor Allgate. I will just quickly read it out for everybody if there is anyone watching the live stream or the recording. Broken Hill City Council report number 18522 dated August the 11th, 2022, Broken Hill CBD revitalisation and activation project update. Being a steering committee meeting, is there any other speakers on the motion?
Just I'm happy. No one seconded it, did they? No,
Not yet.
I'll second that. But just before we have any debate, if just through the chair to the general manager, because it is and it'll be one that's really interesting to the community. If we could just briefly say what it means for the community, the council, and where we'll be heading.
Thanks, Mr. Chair, through you to Mayor Kennedy. Just a good opportunity for an update, given that we are progressing through the project management stages of the new library and archive. So we've appointed a project manager to undertake those works in conjunction with council's internal project management team. So really putting down a solid governance framework to ensure that any issues that come up through the construction process, we're well and truly across that, and taking on board the learnings from the Civic Centre construction from a few years ago. We're just in the process now finalising the tender for construction, which will go out hopefully in the next few weeks, where we'll actually be able to start to see some of those costings come back from builders, which obviously might require some further consideration from council in where do we go if inflation and the impact on the supply chain comes back more than what we expected, which it is likely to at this stage. But we'll be able to cross that bridge when it happens and come up with a solution. And then there's just a noting report in regards to where we're up to with the relocation and the movement. Obviously looking to commence construction, all things going well, in early 2023. And as a part of that, we'll obviously have to relocate the library to a temporary space. The ground floor of the administration building's been earmarked as the best suitable location, because it will give us the space that we require for the library to operate all services, obviously with a reduced area for books, but however they'll be able to operate their programs as per normal. We'll be able to house and store the archives. That won't be open to public inquiry during that period. However, we'll be continuing all the digitisation and the background work during that period. and then ultimately not looking to spend any additional money on renting a space or upgrading a facility that isn't council owned. So this sort of this will give us two ways of doing that. Obviously, a space to relocate the temporary library, but we can also upgrade the ground floor of the administration building for future use once the construction is completed in the new library. So all things are moving along well. Construction tender out in the next 4 to 6 weeks, and the commencement of the relocation will occur up until Christmas, with construction looking to commence in January, February. Thanks, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, General Manager. Is there any other comment on that item? I'll make a quick, Councillor Allgate.
Right, just the right of reply. I accept what the General Manager says. Right from the start, I thought after reading this report that the approach to this project is a far better, far sounder approach than the one that we had a hell of a lot of bad luck with, or not bad luck, but bad management and whatever. The way I see it, it seems to be a good approach, a good program. I would comment to say that I think the meetings might be necessary to have more meetings than those that are listed as the progress, as the building takes shape. You know, we can't afford on this occasion to make any mistakes, none whatsoever. So from that perspective, I think our initial approach and the way it's been documented here is quite sound. The one thing I just query, the cost of refurbishing the admin centre to house the archives and the library during the closure, is that cost, that's a cost to the overall building project, or is that going to be a cost shared by an upgrade to the admin centre as well, or not?
It's a cost additional to the construction of the new library. So it's a part of the carryover report from, well, the carryovers from last year's budget for the Policy and General Committee on Wednesday night, but it is estimated to be 800,000, which should be an additional cost to the actual construction of the new library.
Right. So it's all within the budget that we've originally set.
Yep,
We're not expending any money other than that we have budgeted, and money that we actually have.
No, so it's money that's already been budgeted by council, but just to make it clear, the proposal that $800,000 isn't proposed to come out of the grant money to be used for the library, but it is already budgeted for.
Right. Thank you.
Mayor Kennedy.
Thank you, Councillor Boland. Look, I think it really is good, and people are starting to get excited about this project. What I do like about we had no choice but to have to temporarily relocate the library. What the advantage is, there's an opportunity for council to use that space in the ground floor for other things that could be benefit to the community. I'm not sure, I don't want to put the General Manager on the spot, but there has been a number of plans where it could be used for different things, meeting rooms and that for the community. There's potential for other stuff there, and including what council could use it for. So the 800,000, even though it is to relocate the library, there will also be an upgrade of the bottom floor, which can be used for other uses once it, just briefly, if the General Manager could.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chair. I think you hit the nail on the head, Mayor Kennedy. It's the plans are still open for deliberation, but it's certainly going to be renovated in such a way that it can be utilised, obviously, for a growing council workforce if required. There'll be some space for that, but certainly the front area will be open for potentially community use for further meeting rooms, and especially when we go through this asset optimization process at the moment, looking to obviously have quality over quantity in regards to community spaces. It gives us that opportunity to have a brand new space for community groups to meet and use within the council facility that's been recently upgraded. So they're the plans at the moment, but obviously that'll go out to council and community consultation in regards to what those community groups would be in the future.
Thank you, General Manager, and thank you, Mayor Kennedy. Councillor Page. Oh, sorry. Councillor Brown.
Well, if councillor Page wants to speak up.
Okay, Councillor Page. Councillor Brown's not part of the
No,
committee,
I'm not
but
part
happy
of the
for you to
committee,
talk.
But we clarified that. I am entitled to speak. Yeah, just a question about, and I assume that the normal admin functions of the, the front office here will carry on as they are now in this space, or will they be elsewhere? I mean, people coming, with inquiries to the planning department and that sort of thing.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Yeah, so during the actual reconstruction phase over those 2 months, the plan is for customer service to relocate with the VIC just while that building's being redone. But then once the building's been redone, that we've relocated the library, it'll be normal customer service at the administration building. So if you have your planning matters or your rates matters, you go to the administration, and it gives us an opportunity to start to blend in the library and the administration customer service team to start working together in preparation for the new library as well.
Councillor Page.
Through you, Mr. Chair, to the General Manager, the project person that's been appointed, is that person a civil engineer, or who have you appointed to look after the project?
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Tonkin Consulting Proprietary Limited have been hired as the project managers. They're a firm of civil engineers, so they'll be ultimately project managing it. Internally, it'd be managed by Council's Chief Projects and Assets Officer in conjunction with Council's internal civil engineer. So very highly experienced and qualified staff looking after the project.
That sounds excellent.
Thank you, Councillor Page. Is there any other discussion points? Councillor Brown.
Again, sorry, Mr. Chair, just a question. How are we going now with the negotiation with the BHP Billiton Foundation over that archives, or that donation? Where are we now? Is that going to be forthcoming or what?
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Might be a conversation for offline, Councillor Brown, just given some of the negotiations are still sensitive and confidential with BHP, but they're still ongoing and opening up some other opportunities for us as well.
Okay, any other comments?
Just a
Councillor
comment.
Allgate.
Just a comment on the fact of that. Every time I come in the bottom door on the Glen Street side, on the Beryl Street side, that what used to be the general office is just all waste spaced at the moment. There's just nobody's ever in there, so it'll be good to see that utilised and utilised by council staff or others.
Thank you, Councillor Allgate. I agree with all those comments. I think it's a good use of the building over there and spending some money to bring it up to standard. Good to see the accessible toilet and stuff like that going in there. So I think that'll revitalise that very important asset for the community going forward. I'll call for a vote for that item. All those in favour? I declare that carried. Moving to item 3. Broken Hill City Council report number, it's a surprise that's not on my agenda. Give me a second. It's report dot. It is Broken Hill City Council report number 186/22 dated the August 5th, 2022, Broken Hill Wayfinding Project. Can I please have a mover for that?
I'll move the recommendation as written that council endorse stage 1 of the Broken Hill concept design, that council approves the manufacturing and installation of CDB directional signage, Patton Park, Sturt and Queen Elizabeth Park information sculptural signage, and development of the digital visitor application as recommended in the attached design package.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councillor Allgate. Is there any council?
Yes, I'll speak
Yep.
to it. Thank you.
Mayor Kennedy?
This is a lot of people in town have made it quite clear that the signage around town, particularly in the inner city area, needs to be improved. The wayfinding that has been developed here, I think everyone will be very impressed with. It'll make the city look more modern, but at the same time, it's not modern looking signage. They've tried to keep within heritage type look. That is modern signage. Where council will be saving some money, which is good for the community, but it's not only the savings of money, is locals know more about what's going on in our town than anyone else, and council officers will be the ones that are using a QR code, so you can get a little bit of history. People can, visitors can come, scan the code. It can give other information, maybe a little bit of history of the people they're looking at, or we have the opportunity to really do whatever we like, and that could include sending people to different tourism locations around the city. So what it really will be with these signs is an opportunity to have a volunteer or a tourism volunteer on every corner. So it really will be good for letting tourists particularly know what's going on in the city. So I think, and probably, if I'm not putting anyone on the spot, just through the chair to Jay or anyone, just if they could just give a brief rundown, because I don't know if anyone's listening, but some of the councillors might not have heard. It might be worth just having a quick brief rundown.
Yep. Thanks, Mr. Chair. I might hand over to Council's Executive Manager Growth and Investment, Miss Andrews, please. Middle button. Yep.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. I apologise, I haven't had to speak before, so I didn't know which button to press. So this has been a project that's been funded by the New South Wales Government through the Far Southwest Joint Organisation, and it's really a project that's dedicated to tourism and improving the tourist experience. So the new signage will be through the CBD, and there'll also be some sculptural pieces in our parks telling the story about Queen Elizabeth Park, Patton Park and Sturt Park. I think Mayor Kennedy was referring to the digital app, which will allow people to scan a QR or equivalent code on that signage, which will give them the story of where they're standing in the city. And it also will, there'll be new signage for the self-drive trail and the walking trails as well, so that those stories about the people that those trails refer to can also be called up on the visitors' phones as well, and they can get a bit more information about those people rather than it just being, you know, a simple sign with a few words on it.
Thank you. Is there any further councillors that would like comment on agenda item, report item number 3? Being said, I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour, declare that carried. Thank you. Okay, report number 4, Broken Hill City Council report number 18722, dated August 12th, 2022, purchase of traffic control and traffic counter equipment. Can I grab a mover for that?
Move the recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Allgate. Seconder, Councillor Chandler. Does anyone like to speak on that item?
Nothing to speak on, except to say it's necessary equipment that needs to be replaced, and we're in a position to do it, so there's no reason why we shouldn't.
Thank you, Councillor Allgate. Any further comment?
Just to say
Okay.
that it's important that council is supplied with all the equipment that is needed to carry out safe workplaces and to make sure the roads and that are kept safe. Some of the things that are looked at as no left turn, no right turn, local traffic only, traffic 1 cone reflective, plastic barrier board stands, work ahead. So it comes to $28,000. That's just really just essential equipment to make sure that the council sticks with all the regulations and safety requirements.
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy. I think my comment on that as well is very similar, that our team, our council team are their most important asset to this council, and keeping our crews that are out on the road and out in the streets safe is very, very important. And this purchase goes away to ensure that we're keeping our team safe out there on the roads, so they're home with their family every night, which is very, very important, I believe. I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? Declare that carried. Moving to report number 5, Broken Hill City Council report number 188-22, dated August the 10th, 2022, minutes of the Local Traffic Committee, meeting number 427, held on Tuesday, the 2nd of August. I have a mover for that.
Move the recommendation. I'll read it out saying that that's what everybody else does.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Allgate.
That the Broken Hill City Council report number 188/22 dated August the 10th, 2022 be received. That item number 427.8.2, that council arranges for the bus stop adjacent to the Palace Hotel in Arger Street to be relocated further down the road to allow continued bus services, not obstructing the loading zone area for the duration of the Broken Hill Festival. And can I ask a question? When I read the report, in the recommendation, it's going to move it down the street. And then I noticed, I think it was Mr. Bazina's comment that it's going to be up the street. Can I ask where it will be moved to precisely?
Thanks. Through you, Mr. Chair, I'll pass over to Council's Chief Assets and Project Officer, Mr. Howard.
Thank you, General Manager. Through the Chair to you, Councillor Allgate. We're looking to move it westerly down, so from the Palace side further towards Bromide Street.
It depends what way you're looking at the street, Councillor Allgate. Some people may look it down and some people may look it up. But the main thing is the bus stop will be there for the...
Whether you're up north or south.
Well, I guess it depends what part of Argent Street you want to be dropped to. maybe get on the stop before outside the cafe at Charlotte's.
I'll second that. Just a question.
Mayor Kennedy.
Yeah, and maybe even a late item. Just the bus stop for the Gauzy girls. I think we need to get onto that as soon as we can. Do we have any update on that? Still waiting for me to give you the exact spot.
I think we've got that now, Mr. Mayor. But yeah, now that the works are completed in Gypsum Street, we can have a look at that. It's been noted that if council does put in the bus stop, though, at the moment the bus company won't add the additional stop in, but it would be a stop that council puts in that they're basically out of goodwill. They've been happy to pick up over the number of years, but we can certainly look at that.
It just really needs to be done simply because I'll go as far as to say they're an iconic three ladies. One has already passed away, and we want to get this done really as a symbol of commitment to the people that mean a lot in our city. So even though it won't be a regular bus stop, they still stop there the buses are still stopped there for 50 years, and I'm sure they'll continue to stop there. So when that gets done, the community will be over the moon with it, without a doubt.
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy. Any other comments on that report? Put it to the vote. All those in favour? Declare that carried. Item number 6, Broken Hill City Council report number 189-22, dated August the 12th, 2022. Minutes of the E.P. O'Neill Memorial Park redevelopment project steering group meeting held 16th of June 2022 and site visit held 17th of June 2022. Can I have a mover for that?
I'll move that and speak to it.
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy.
Second.
And seconded to Councillor Allgate. Mayor Kennedy.
This is one of these projects that has the whole community excited. It's one that I know that And I'm sure some of the other people, I'm not sure if Cody's been involved in it a bit, but the netball, cricket, tennis, it's not getting that much, but they're still excited. Everyone is excited about it. Soccer's excited about it. People that aren't involved with those sports are excited about it. I've heard nothing but positive news from people. It is a project that everyone can't wait to see. Even people that don't live in Broken Hill are talking about how much more this would mean and how much easier it would be for them to move either to Broken Hill or back to Broken Hill, having really good quality sporting facilities that look good. We have a lot that are good anyway, but the better they are, the more accessible they are, the better that it is to sell our town. So having said that, if I'm not putting anyone on the spot, just a bit of a few of the comments about the feedback that has been received by the sporting organisations and just how well it is going, because I know that there's been a lot of actual feedback from the organisations themselves.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. We've just received the 50% progress designs back late last week, so I'll hand over to Mr. Howard again with that update.
Thank you, General Manager. Through the chair to Mayor Kennedy. Yes, we received the 50% last week, which we're just working through the finer details. A couple of questions our project delivery team had just to clean up that before we circulate it to the steering group. But we are still on target with all our dates for the design to be completed by late this year, early next year, and construction to start early to mid next year. With the 75% design will be presented by the consultants to this project steering group as well.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. Is there any other councillors that would like to speak on item 6? Yes, Councillor Allgate was the seconder. With that being said, I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? Declare that carried. Good audience tonight. Item number 7, Broken Hill City Council Report number 19022, dated August the 11th, 2022. Minutes of the Picton Oval Sports Ground Community Committee Annual General Meeting held 25th of July 2022. Can I have a mover for that item?
Move that way. Move the recommendation 1 that the Broken Hill City Council Report number 190/22 dated 11th of August be received. That the minutes of the Picton Oval Sports Ground Community Committee Annual General Meeting held on the 25th of July be received.
Thank you, Councillor Allgate. Can I have a seconder for that motion, Councillor Chandler? Any councillors would like to speak on that item? And that being said, I'll put it to Councillor Allgate.
Only to add that they appear to be providing as a result of the general meeting, what the council requires.
Just one question through the chair, if you don't mind. And I know this has been an ongoing problem with them, is the long jump pit. Do we have any update that we can send out to them? Because it is, I see that it still remains unusable. I think they're finished for the year as far as carnivals go, but do we have a just an update here and then? So if I or anyone's asked, we have one.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Not off the top of hand, Mr. Mayor, but we'll get an update and circulate it to councillors.
Thank you, General Manager. Put that to the vote. All those in favour? Declare that carried. We'll move to item number 8, Broken Hill City Council Report number 191/22, dated July the 7th, 2022. Minutes of the Memorial Oval Community Committee meeting held 24th of May 2022, 7th of June 2022, and 5th of July 2022. Can I have a mover for that item, please? Mayor Kennedy, a seconder. Councillor Allgate, any councillors would like to speak on the item?
Just to briefly say, even though the Memorial Oval is not the show committee, they still have a lot of work that they do with the show committee, and the show, as we all know, is coming up really soon. Council have done a lot to help the show committee out, and just a little bit of general information that I'm sure the general manager will be happy to share. And Councillor Brown and Councillor Page will be particularly happy, and Councillor Allgate will be particularly happy to hear this, is we found contracts. So if you could just briefly tell for Jay what happened there, because it is a nice story and a good outcome.
Thanks, Mayor Kennedy, through you, Mr. Chair. Yes, it's in regards to the long-standing arrangements of the Silver City Show Committee's buildings in the pavilion, and the buildings that were built on Memorial Oval, and actually who was responsible for them, and how they worked in regards to council and council's obligations with the Crown land. Those records couldn't, well, there was always debate around who was going to be ultimately responsible for those buildings and who could utilise them under the Crown lands lease. But we did come across the 1954 council resolution a week or so ago that actually clarified in regards to the Silver City Show Committee being responsible for those buildings until such a time that the show committee no longer exists as an incorporation. So that's been clarified. Now we've just got to obviously work through how that interacts with the update to the Crown Lands Act, but that record has been found. That clarifies the situation.
You should be very happy with that, Councillor Page. They now know that it's their buildings until they no longer exist.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. And Pat Gillespie came to my place today, and I got a briefing on the history of what you just said today. And that's why possibly I was running late for the meeting tonight.
Well, this is how, that is he didn't tell the full story. Jay just said in brief conversation about it, and he goes, I think I know where that is. So after we've been looking all this time, it was found within 10 minutes. So well done.
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy. 1956, long time ago. 1954. Was Councillor Allgate on the council back then? He might remember it. There you go. There's why you should have good record keeping. You never know when it will come in handy. Is there any other councillors that would like to make comment on that item? That being said, I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? Declare that carried. Moving along to item 9, Broken Hill City Council Report number 192-22, dated July 27th, 2022. Minutes of the Ridford Abatorium. Did I pronounce that correctly? Abatorium. Thank you, Councillor Brown. Community Committee Annual General Meeting held 2nd of July 2022. Can I have a mover for that item? Councillor Chandler, seconder.
Oh, yeah, I'll say.
Councillor Allgate was up with his light on first, I think. Councillor Allgate. Any councillors would like to speak on that item? Councillor Brown, you're involved in that committee. Is there any comment? Or you were, are you?
Yes. Not really, Mr. Chair. I think we've got a mainly new enthusiastic group of people, and we've got enthusiastic Mr. Jared Paul assisting us. So it's all looking good. It's looking good because of the rain as well. So if you haven't been there for a while, it's worth going. The wattle's all out, so it's going well.
Thank you, Councillor Brown. It's certainly looking very, very nice. It's congratulations to the committee and the council staff involved in the upkeep of that. Is there any other? Mayor Kennedy?
I noticed here about the visit from school children, and I know we got the presentation from Landcare. It might be worth getting some of those, like the QR code, same thing, so kids can go up to the trees and do that sort of stuff.
Yes, I mean, that's been on our list of things that we'd like to do. I mean, we're still, it's, a lot of these things take a while to work through. We're still working on getting a good design for the plant labels. So, and we hope, hope we can get something that's got a QR code or something similar. One of those other ones, I think originally, a few years ago, council was using the Zapper code. I think that was, which kind of made things, it kind of called up a video. That was one of the heritage promotions, used the Zapper code. And I think, but anyway, things have, life has changed. Yeah, so that's
going on.
Yeah, well, we hope it will. We just haven't got, got the plans finalised yet, but certainly we'd like to do that, and it's a good idea.
It definitely sounded good when I heard it, and there's nothing better than being able to know exactly what's explained there.
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy. And any further councillors like to comment on item 9? That being said, I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? Declare that carried. There's item number 9, confidential matters. There isn't any. So as there is no further business, I declare the Works Committee meeting closed. Thank you to everybody for your attendance.